What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Living Blessed, the podcast. I'm your host, Jovan J. Palmer. And as always, I have special and dope guests on who tell very amazing stories of their vulnerable moments of their lives and how they've overcome those situations and gone to do amazing things that they're doing today. And as always, I have a special guest, Miss Kori Jeanne.
You got it.
I almost called you Kori Jeanne. I don't know why, because I got a friend I call Kori Jeanne. So their name's like super close. Her name is Kori, but I call her Kori Jeanne. I don't know why. So when I saw your name, I was like, oh no. Kori Jeanne with a K.
Jeanne, yep.
K-O-R-I. I love it.
Thank you.
You're giving Aaliyah vibes today.
Yes. It's funny because I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, I like this. I like this a lot.
I like it. It's you.
Thank you.
It fits your personality.
Thank you. That feels good.
That feels good. Now, what's that say on top?
Innocent. It's a little bit upside down.
That's your brand.
Yeah, that's my brand. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So listen, let's tell the people who you are. Let's introduce yourself, and we'll go from there.
Well, yes. As he said so eloquently, I'm Kori Jeanne. I do a few things. Majorly, I act and I sing. That's what brought me out to Atlanta. I'm from California. I'm from the Bay Area, California. West Side.
Okay.
West Coast. Hayward. It's like around Oakland. Went to school in San Francisco.
Okay.
So all around the Bay. And what else? Oh yeah, I have a clothing line. I also do set designs for photo shoots. I'm a creative director.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
With the whole fit we got going on today.
Am I just exuding it right now?
It's very like creative. Like I live in my own world, own space is what it's giving. Like I'll march to the beat of my own drum.
Yeah, that's the only drum that I hear. I
love it.
Yeah, it's funny because. It's so funny that you say that because I'm constantly just kind of realizing a lot of different things about how we socialize as people.
Ooh, good topic.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like been a main focus for like a few months now. And it's just like I realize how we coexist and like how dysfunctionally we coexist and how we kind of normalize kind of like dysfunctional behavior in like a weird way. And it's kind of like I don't think I've ever really like fell within the realm of normal, but now I'm actually seeing what parts of me are abnormal to people. Okay. Like what parts of me I find I function in.
So break down what you feel as normal versus abnormal.
I feel like and when I say normal,
this is you, not anyone else. That's what I said, what you feel. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm so happy that you say that because I can't stand when people come up here and they talk and they feel like they're put on a platform and they speak like they know everything.
Facts. Yeah. That's why I said just you.
Yeah, just me.
Because I know for me personally, I don't know everything.
Right.
And there was a point in my life where I felt like I had to know everything because people had kind of put me on that pedestal of, oh, Jovan knows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've gotten so comfortable with myself and so sure of myself to like, I don't know. And what has taught me that is my current graduate degree. I'm getting my master's in social work. And it's helped me understand that you don't have to have all the answers right now.
Yeah.
But when your client comes back to you, just make sure that you have that answer that you couldn't provide to them.
Or at least guiding questions so they can provide their own answers.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's one of the things that we've normalized. People just knowing everything and like speaking like they know everything. Like that's one of the things I feel like was normalized. Like, they have this trend now. Let's normalize this. Let's normalize that. Let's normalize people functioning and having space to grow and be, wrong. Yeah. And having the comfort to know that you're wrong and having the space to feel comfortable to apologize.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why is it so hard for people to apologize?
Ooh.
And I feel like that's one of the things that's normal. It's normal for people to find it hard to apologize.
It is, because it's hard for me to apologize.
It's like we got to think about it.
Well, I think, no, it's not hard for me to apologize. It's hard for me to apologize in a way that comes off as sincere. I would say that because I'm not really heavy into zodiacs, but I'm a Leo.
Okay.
And like my way of apologizing is like, all right, my bad, sorry. All right, let's move on and get over it. I'm not a very hard, emotional type of person. Like I've been that person, and I think what happened was life has kind of like pushed me out of that person. And now I found the balance between having the right, knowing when to have the emotion and when to like kind of like not have the emotion.
Yeah.
So as a person like yourself, as we're on this topic, have you always been this way? Like, was there like a point in time in life where the Kori Jeanne that we see today wasn't Kori Jeanne 5 years ago?
Absolutely. I think I would be lying if I said that. Yeah, no, I've always been like this. Because I mean, we have to grow.
For sure.
We need space to grow. We have to, and I pride myself in growing, my ability to grow. And I feel like that's been consistent.
Okay.
I've always like, how could I coexist better? How can I function better? How could I, the way I treat people and the way I make people feel has always been really significant to me. Not because I care, not because I'm a people pleaser. Well, I do care, but it's not because I care about people's opinions, not because I'm a people pleaser, but I know how I like to be made to feel. You know what I'm saying? Especially as like a genuine person. Like, there are people and then there are raw people. You know what I'm saying? And there are certain, and I feel like artists, tend to be kind of like raw people. Our emotions are kind of more reachable. Even when we have like this hard exterior, even when you have people that come up here like that's the biggest mask. That's the most sensitive individual most of the time. You know what I'm saying? That's the person that's going to have the most emotional outbursts. So I feel like I tend to surround myself with raw people naturally. And it used to annoy me because I was like, dang, everybody's so sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Everyone like relax, because I'm the type of person, although I'm like super considerate, I like to poke fun. I like to say whatever comes to my head. And that's something I used to be like, yo, I'm gonna say whatever I feel like saying. I'm gonna say it, you know what I'm saying? But now I realize I can still say what I feel like saying. I can still be very true to myself and not feel like I have to censor myself, but be considerate. And I wasn't always considerate.
So how does one find a balance between being considerate and also still being themselves 100% authentically?
Being aware of the person that you're dealing with. Not you as your authentic self is not one thing. And I appreciate that about people. I feel like you're being sincere with me right now. And you're probably very sincere with your mother. But the way you're treating me and the way you're going to treat your mother are two very different people. You know what I'm saying? I believe in treating people as yourself according to who the person is and what they can handle from you. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like what I'll say to my boyfriend is not going to be the same thing I say to my older sister. Okay. But I'm still very much so myself around them.
So how does one be themselves? So say for instance, right, we're in this space right now at E-Complex, and there's a networking mixer going on, or there's a bunch of people just walk in.
Right.
How does one be themselves and then also be considerate of the hundreds of people around them?
Ooh. This is gonna sound kind of bad, but in those types of situations, I only look to appeal to the people I appeal to. I used to have, it's so cool that you asked that, yo, because I used to have a hard time understanding why some people just don't respond to me well. They just don't respond. Like, I strike some people's nerves, and I'm just like, and at first I used to be like, oh, what did I do? Like, what did I do? I was myself. It's somebody that I didn't even look at. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody that I didn't even interact with and that I remember. It's like, but there was plenty of times where it's just like, people just did not like me. I just do not. What?
That's hard for me to really really get that, because you seem like such a sweetheart.
Thank you. But there's some things that just, I don't know. There are some things like, there was a time here at one of the events, Network Mixer, and I told someone in a very Kori Jeanne way, yo, I have shirts. You can get one of these shirts. And it was an influential person, and I said it, and I like dipped out, and then I was like, yo, I walked past him again, I was like, yo, when you're ready for one of my shirts, just let me know. And then I read people. I just kind of like pick up, certain things. And then when I said that, he didn't like it. He didn't like it at all, right? I don't know if it was what I said, if it was how I said it, but he didn't like it. And I was like, I'm gonna just let that go. I didn't talk to him about it again, you know what I'm saying? Even though he had like 10 other shirts. And I asked him, when I first went up to him, I was like, did you buy those shirts? He's like, of course I bought them. I was like, okay, I got a shirt for you. Just let me know when you want it, right? Something about the way I pitched
you said it just like that.
Just like that. When you're ready for one of those shirts, just let me know. And I
that feels like this typical sales type of
right?
pitch. Like, you ready for it, let me know.
But that's not the first time that something like that happened, or me saying hi to somebody, or me standing there and it is so funny because Bunduk. Bunduk's and I are dating, and so he's with me at a lot of events, and I used to tell him, women don't like me sometimes. Women target me sometimes, right?
They target you.
And
Stop.
it's funny, right? Exactly.
Why are you a target?
I don't know. I don't completely know. I mean, I have an idea, but I don't know what people are feeling. I don't know what people pick up. It's so funny because I feel like there's a lot of videos and they're like, oh, it's because you have a light, da-da-da-da. And I feel like it's kind of egotistical of me to be able to, for me to try to assume what rubs me wrong to certain people. You know what I'm saying? It's not always because I have a light and I exude greatness and people don't know how to respond to greatness. That's not always the reason, You never know what you're triggering in somebody, and I'm considerate of that. So I won't give myself a sweeping reason why I know for sure I become a target. And that Bunduk had to learn. He was like, yo, like, he was like, there was a point where he's like, what is this? And I was like, I don't know, but I'm ready to go home. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gets like that. Like, I'll be standing there and somebody will come stand on my foot. Like, one time I was watching a show and this woman stood right in front of me and stood on my foot. And when I nudged her to get off of me, she turned around and came at me. Luckily, someone else saw the situation.
Because you pushed her off,
nudged her off of my foot.
Like, hey, you're
her and her friend were like, yo, you push, and I was like, But luckily it was my show, so I just went and stood on the stage.
Maybe it's your size, because I do that to people. Like, if someone's coming my direction, I've learned to I put my hand out because you're not about to run into me. Or if I'm walking and you're just standing there, I'm gonna touch you and say, hey, I'm behind you, or I'm gonna say, hey, excuse me. Not just kind of moving. I guess when they turn around and see who I am, 300-pound person, black man, versus 110 pound 15, little black girl.
Gain and lose.
Right. It's like, who this chick thinks she is? Versus
That's possible. That's possible, but sometimes it's gotten to a point where I could just see it. I could see it happen. I could see it,
from afar.
A mile away.
Yeah.
And it never fails. And it's like, yep. Like one time, Bunduk, one of his friends, and then me, we were standing in a triangle formation. Somebody pushes me out the way, walks right through our triangle formation. That's when he got mad. That's when he was like, yo, what? I was like, I don't know. I don't know. But
I can
it's
see Voodoo turning up a little bit.
Yo!
I think that's a sign I don't want to see. That's a sign I don't want to see.
And that's why I'm just like, but I've grown to, but it's been like that from elementary school. It's been like that for as long as I can remember interacting with peers.
So how is it, is it a battle for you?
It's not, it doesn't need to
be. I mean, from as a child.
Well,
Not now as an adult. How old are you now?
26.
26, but as a child, was it something that you're always questioning yourself, because sometimes we question ourselves, is it me, what did I do? Yeah. I know sometimes I get in my head a lot and I overthink, what did I do?
Yeah.
And all in all, it wasn't my fault at all. As a child, was that something that you question yourself, okay, what is it about me that I may need to change and maybe I need to adjust?
Yeah.
To them, let me what's the word I'm looking for? So I try to see.
Compromise?
Yes. Am I compromising who I 100% genuinely are for the individuals around me because they can't handle who I am? Yeah,
absolutely. Because as a child, you're vulnerable. As a child, you're questioning everything. You're just not figuring everything. You're figuring yourself out. And when I was a lot though. I'm hyperactive. I'm goofy. You know what I'm saying? So it's I just thought it was, I'm just too much for people. I'm too much for people. Did that stop me? No. I was continuously a lot, but there was definitely insecurities that came along with it. There were things that I did try to I'm gonna try to be more mysterious and quiet. And we moved around a lot. So I wasn't ever in a space long enough to feel I'm going to just mold myself to this space and this group of people. I had the luxury of not having to feel like I have to mold. It's I'm going to leave soon anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. But then I would okay, in this new space, maybe I could be like this. It never works out that way. I'm always going to end up being myself. I can never just change. And then that's when I realized I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, changing is not working. I can't, something about me, like, it's just not gonna, I'm not gonna change. So I'm going to be myself. And there's a lot of great stuff that comes along with being myself. Like, I didn't get along with people my age, but I always get along with people older than me, you know? So I just found myself always being around people older than me, you know? And then, and those are the ones that got out of the game, you know what I'm saying? So why would I know, you know? But then I actually, people older than me and younger than me, because I realized my junior year, in high school, I had a whole bunch of sophomore friends, but I was also put into school a year early, so I was like hanging out with people my age, you know, or older than me, and I got along with all the adults in my school. I was able to get away with a lot of stuff because I was friends with all the adults at school, you know, like I found that those that were insecure about me, those that I triggered, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna focus on the people that love me. I'm gonna focus on the people that can give me game. I'm gonna focus on the people that I can thrive around. Yo, there was I had a performance at my school, and I don't know how this girl ended up standing next to my sister, but my sister told me the story, my mom told me the story all the time, and they're like, yo, this girl literally looked over at your sister and was like, aren't you like, isn't it hard being her sister? And my sister was like, what do you mean? She's like, don't you get jealous? And then my sister's like, what do you mean do I get jealous of my sister? Like what, like she couldn't even understand that question. And then my mom and my sister, they wanted to tell me that story so bad, and they told me multiple times. They told me. And I was like, that's cool. I can't worry about that. I can't worry about people that are jealous. I can't find that empowering. I can't care about that too much. Literally, other people's opinions is none of my business. It's none of my business, because I'm still gonna have the same insecurities. I'm still gonna have the same strengths. I'm still gonna have the same weaknesses. I'm gonna be me regardless. And so when you ask why are people like that, I don't think it's always jealousy. I think that's one of the many reasons. I think it could be that I remind them of somebody that they didn't have a good experience with. I think that it could be that I'm too loud. I think that it could be that they're like, oh, she might be competition. She thinks that she's better than me. It could be so many different things. But I can't focus on why. And I don't want to personalize why, because I know I didn't do anything to them. And I feel like we personalize a lot as people. We personalize somebody cutting us off in traffic. You know, we personalize somebody giving us a weird look. We personalize so many different things. And it's like, that's not gonna lead me anywhere.
Yeah.
So I just gotta focus on how I'm thinking about situations, how I handle situations, and empower myself that way.
Got you. So you mentioned earlier that you had like these insecurities as a child. What were some of those insecurities that you had?
Oh, so many. I have a condition called nail patella syndrome, right? Nail patella syndrome.
Oh, I wouldn't think about hand at all. I was just like, I was trying to kind of pause you, like, oh, let's explain to me what that is. But you're telling me, okay, so nail patella syndrome. Now, explain to the audience and myself what that is.
Nail patella syndrome kind of it's like a syndrome that affects a lot of different small parts of me. So it affects my fingernails, it affects my arms, it affects my knees, it affects my spine, all different.
So break down each body part that you just explained. How does it affect it in that area? Of course, you showed me the nail.
Yeah, so I don't grow nails on my thumb and index finger the same.
On both hands or one hand?
Both hands.
Okay. Can you put like a fake nail on top of that? Or
yeah. It's gonna pop off though. It's gonna give it 48 hours. It's gonna.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
It pops right off.
So no fake nails. You just keep it natural.
No, don't get me wrong. I'll get my nails done. I just don't have them done right now.
48 hours though.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I spend money on a whole
child,
set.
How was it dealing with that as a child?
That was super frustrating. Like when it came to slumber parties. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody's painting their nails, and then like people would like, what's this? And I'm just like, it's just my nail. Like, it's my hands, you know? Or like, you know, kids are ruthless. They're going to ask about it. They're going to ask. But actually, it didn't really come up until, you know, like the slumber party situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people didn't really bring it up. There was one time, like I said, my knees, I don't have kneecaps. Yeah. I don't have kneecaps. So there's one time in school. One time in school, this boy was like, your knee looks like hearts, and this one looks like a monkey face. And I had a crush on him.
So you don't have a kneecap?
Yeah.
So this right here?
Yeah. And there was one time in school.
So what's there?
Just the way your joints and bones are put together underneath your kneecap.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was
crazy that you and Boone are together.
I know, right? Yeah.
So no kneecap, no nail on just your index and thumb. You don't have a kneecap.
And I can't extend my arms all the way.
So, I mean, they don't like full.
They don't, hyperextend. So doing push-ups and stuff was like hard. So it's like I can't like lock in place.
Y'all are different. Because the way y'all explain yourselves, it's like y'all are like a match made in heaven. I'm not saying because you're like, the issues that you all have. Yeah. It's just that the way that you express it is like, you think like you want, do I give them sympathy for this?
Yeah,
no.
Y'all
was like,
it's just a thing, So like, but for me in like dance, my arms
you're
were
a
a
dancer.
thing. Yeah.
So
jazz and ballet, like when they were like, no, you have to straighten your arms here, and I'm just like, I can't.
So how was that frustrating? It had to be frustrating for a while.
So frustrating.
Trying to explain to like your teachers and everybody that, hey, I have this condition that I can't. Can you be on your knees for like long periods of time?
Like I feel like my knees are stronger than most people's.
Yeah, being a dancer, like especially jazz and ballet, like there's a lot of groundwork with that.
Yeah, so I feel like kneecaps cause a lot of pain. My knees don't. Like I can dislocate my knee.
You don't get none of these popping noises that, of course.
Oh, they pop. They pop. They pop. But like my knee could dislocate and then just go right back into place. So like the kneecap, if your knee dislocates, you gotta pop your knee back into place behind your kneecap. My knee will just.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay.
I'm like, but in school, there was like one of the health teachers or whatever, like / PE teacher, you know what I'm saying? One of those types of teachers. And they're like, oh yeah, so everybody has kneecaps. And I was like, I don't have kneecaps. And they were like, you do have kneecaps. And she just thought I was being hyper, just disobedient. And she like yelled at me and told me to step outside because I was being difficult.
I have a sister whose best friend, her last name is Guess. And the teacher had a moment just like that. So in that
Teachers be tripping.
In that moment, how are you feeling in that moment where you're trying to express who you are to your professor, your teacher's not a professor, and you're being punished for something that's out of your control?
Yeah. Ooh, it felt at the moment. It felt like humiliating. You know what I'm saying? And it felt like I kind of wish that someone was like, no, she really doesn't. Like, I wish there was someone that was there to like could have proved it, or if I could have like, those things that you wish you did like back.
Oh yeah, you think back.
I wish I like stood up, walked up to the front of the classroom, and be like, like look, like, and it just like, but it was just kind of like. I don't really fully remember the entire scope of emotions. Okay. Because I also felt like she crazy, but I remember being super embarrassed and I felt bad.
Yeah.
I felt bad because I've always been an empathetic person. So it's kind of like, oh, she was so frustrated. Like, I didn't mean to like be that I didn't mean to challenge her. You know what I'm saying?
But then again, that goes back to the compromise situation. Like, are you find, so it's like you're compromising yourself for who you 100% are, or for the I won't call them issues, but for the differences that you have from the normal human body, if you want to call it normal. But it's just these, like, you're going through these moments in life where you're having to prove yourself. Time and time again.
Yeah, that was actually, that was spot on.
And it's like, why do I have to keep proving myself for who I am? And that kind of helps. Like sometimes it gives you like an identity crisis in a sense.
I'm blessed enough that my parents have always been so solid. Like they're so solid. Teachers are not always right, you know. And my parents were like, just because they're an adult does not mean they're an authority, you know. So it's kind of like I've always had this mentality of like, I feel right. I think I'm right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so, but I think honestly that it comes from the way I was raised and the freedom that I was raised with and the consideration that my parents raised me with. So I never had, being a black person in an all white school has given me, put me in a mental space that I never thought I was going to be in. I think that's something that I battled with in regards to having an identity crisis.
Just talk about that.
Yeah. But never for my nail patella. But like, so my junior year of high school, we moved up to this place in Northern California in the hills, like in the mountains. And it was like 3-4 black people, right? And and there were, you know, a bunch of white and Mexican people. And, you know, the Mexicans, they were like the type to say the N-word and, you know, like just feel very free. And white people would also be like, Kori, I'm blacker than you. Because as you hear the way I speak and stuff, the way I carry, yeah. You know, people would say I was whitewashed or whatever. Yeah. And so they would say stupid, ignorant things like that. And, you know, dating was not a real thing for me. And then if it was somebody that's trying to date me, it was just the other black person from the neighboring town that was not for me, you know what I'm saying? Like you're black, but that's about it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's about it, you know? So it was like, don't get me wrong, I was still very confident, and that's the city, that's the school that the girl was like, how are you Kori's sister? Don't you get jealous? So that, like, I didn't dull my shine. If anything, a vulnerability moment, I kind of, in a lot of ways, thought I was better. Knew I was better, you know, than a lot of their mindsets, because like I said, I move around a lot. So I was experienced, and I was raised around a lot more than they were raised within this small town. But I wasn't always treated like I was significant, I guess, you know, especially among my peers. Among the adults and stuff, I was set. Like, They loved me. I got high at school once by accident. I swear it was an accident.
It was an accident.
Because it was a weed cookie that I didn't know had weed in it.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. So it was in the middle of a final, and I just got up. I walked outside of the classroom. I sat there in the grass. I was found by the hall monitor. I was taken to the office. I looked at them and I said, I'm sick. High as hell. I was so high. I'm sick. They're like, oh, Kori, go lay down. Right? They loved me. They loved me in the office. They were like, oh, she's sick. You know what I'm saying? And they believed me because I was so trustworthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then like I called my dad, told my dad the truth. I was like, hey, this is what's going on. This is happening. I don't know what to do with my body. Like, yeah. I was so scared because it was the first time. I wasn't that person. So, but yeah, I went through a tunnel of adults in the school. No one suspected anything from little old Kori, you know? So I was always set there. I was never like treated with like outrageous forms of racism, you know, but microaggressions, ignorance, stupid comments like your dad's only attractive because he's black, your teeth are only white because you're black, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can only sing, like I hear every other black person sing, is forget the training that you've had since you were 12 years old. Forget the money that your parents put in. Forget the fact that you work your behind off. You only sing like that because you're black, and you sound like every other black person I've ever heard. Like, I was like, that was a point in my life where I was like, Mom, I'm not okay. Like, I'm not okay. Because it was just like the level of ignorance, and it was consistent. I was frustrated. And then on top of that, you know, when you're a young girl, your style and your sense of confidence and your beauty that you just haven't tapped into yet. So I was awkward and I was just like, yo, I don't want to be here. You know, I don't want to be here. I would rather be in a big city, you know, where I might get lost in the sauce. A big school where I might get lost in the sauce, because I was at a big high school and then I moved to a little high school, and I felt like a big fish in a small pond filled with ignorance. And like I couldn't get away from attention, and it seemed like it was just always, not always, it just seemed like it was microaggressive attention constantly from my peers. And I was just like, yo, I don't want to be here anymore. So once I got the chance, actually no, and then I went to the community college up there for 2 years, and then I dipped, went to San Francisco, and then I moved to Atlanta.
So you San Francisco to Atlanta. So how was the transition from San Francisco to Atlanta? It's like they're the same, but they're not the same.
Yeah, you're spot on. San Francisco to Atlanta. It was an interesting transition, because San Francisco, I was like involved with the BSU and stuff. So I was like reacclimating myself to being around Black people, not even just, you know, diverse people. I was around Black people. So like the certain levels of like, you know, information we get about how to do my hair. And, you know, I lived in a sorority house, even though I wasn't a part of a sorority. So I found like sisterhood. I found myself, you know, I was just like this still awkward, but yet adorable, like girl. And like I was around a group of guys. I found that I attract male friends a lot. I have a lot of great women friends too, though. I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, I prefer to be around males, because that's not true. I don't prefer to be around males. But I attract male friends, you know?
I get it. I'm the same way. I attract female friends.
Yeah.
Majority of my friends, they're female.
Yeah.
And I have male friends, but it's just that's how the cookie crumbles.
It's how the cookie crumbles. Yeah. It's like, and it's my dad. My parents are very honest, right? So my dad, he's like, because I was like, yeah, I just feel like my male friends, they stick around more. He's like, yeah, because they want to get with you. And I was like, oh, I don't like that. Like, I was like, this makes me look at everything differently.
Yeah,
like, but yo, like, but they're like, I have 3 solid friends, and those are women, you know? But like my come and go friends, like I end up with like males, you know, like, and they're fun, and they're the ones that can keep up with the fact that I was like, you know, they're sensitive. They're not like sensitive like that. So I found like this group of male friends in San Francisco. I used to hang out with them all the time. We would go to the Trap. It's not a trap. It's just literally one of their houses that we would always hang out at. So it was like,
suburban kids gone bad.
It was a trap, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yo, and it was cool. And I remember moving, and they all just like helped me move. And I was like genuinely sad. That was a move that actually made me sad. And because I'm used to moving, and so yeah, moves are sad, but I was like sad leaving them, you know.
I bet.
And it's not even like we hung out all the time. But if I was like, yo, I'm hungry, they'll be like, okay, 1 sec, and like 3 of them like pulled up and they made me spaghetti. It was interesting spaghetti, but they made it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like
So let's get to Atlanta, because you're a dancer, right?
Yeah. So I started dancing out and stuff at Atlanta.
Okay.
But mostly singing and acting.
Okay.
So I did a lot of open mics when I first came out. I used to perform at the Dream Cafe, and I sucked so bad at open mics. Like stage and stuff, that's mostly like plays. And I never have stage fright with plays, and I played so many. And that's another thing with San Francisco. I did a lot of play work. And like with plays and stuff, theater, it's there's not a lot of stipulations with race. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to play Peter Pan. I played Janis Joplin. I played Mercutio from Romeo and Juliet. I played so many cool, dope roles, but I want to break into film and stuff. So when I came out to Atlanta, I didn't even go to a casting. And then I got booked as a hostess for a show. And the listing said, casting for Atlanta, right? And I was like, okay, cool, casting in Atlanta. So I submitted myself for it, and they were like, oh, you're the hostess. I got to the set, and then they were like, oh, where's the hostess? And I was like, I'm right here. And they were like, okay, we need you in hair and makeup. And I was like, I thought this was an extras role. Extras don't like always get hair and makeup. Like, what is this? And so I was sitting in the makeup chair, and they were doing me up, and I was like, what show is this? And they were like, oh, it's Atlanta. And I was like,
you was casted in Atlanta?
yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
When does it come back on?
I don't know.
Dang.
I don't know. I'm not that tapped in. I'm not that tapped in.
What episode were you in?
Season 1, episode 6.
Now I have to go back and watch it.
It's literally small.
I don't care. I know you.
And it's so funny because I forgot that I did it. And then my friends were like, wait, Kori. And so that's when I was back on Snapchat.
Season 1, episode 6.
Don't quote me, but yes, I think so.
I'll go back and I'll figure it out. Now that I just gotta, just because I know you.
And you'll be like, that's her. Yeah, that was
What were you
me.
doing? So I know.
I was a hostess in the very beginning of the episode. I was the hostess. And it was so funny because I can, like, when I was on, I'm so awkward. You know, so I was like, I got on set and Donald was there, of course. And he walked past me first. He looked at me, made eye contact with me, walked past me. And I was like, hey, what's up? You know, no big deal. And then I was in hair and makeup again because I had these stupid, I learned a lesson. So I had like crochet braids in and my hair was like super big and long. And I was like, this is gonna be hard for them to manage. And I could tell it was hard for them to manage. So I had to like get in the hair and makeup chair again. And so they were like fixing my hair again and they were trying to figure out how to manage my hair. And I think they eventually just gave up and I didn't get nearly as much camera time as they expected me to get. I think that happened.
Was it a black hairstylist?
Yeah, it was a black hairstylist, but it was like.
Was it like your hair or was it a weave?
It was like a weave. Like it's called crochet braids. So it was like, so it was a natural styled hair, but I had hecka like of it. So it was kind of like, they could have pulled it back into a slick ponytail, but I think it was like too much for any of the hair ties they had.
So you had your own personal crochet hair at the time. And it was like, they probably weren't expecting that hairstyle.
Exactly.
And of course you can't take it out because it takes forever.
Exactly. So I kind of like,
So how do you feel like you bombed that role? Is that like the lingo for movies? Like, oh, I bombed it.
I think I hindered an opportunity.
So you hindered your opportunity for a longer minutes in the episode. So
I feel like
instead of like, this one shot that I'm about to put on you now. So the shot's here and we're talking, we're moving and then boom, it comes back over here. And that's it. Yes, because the shot that I ended up having was like me looking over and be like, oh, okay. Rather than, I feel like, because I noticed that they give small parts significant shots on Atlanta. Like, I studied the show. So it's not like, I feel like a part of the art and the cinematography in Atlanta is like straight on faces, especially like with black glistening characters. So it's like making the face a familiar face.
Yes.
So it's like, if I look at it and I see Kori and I'm dead on right now.
Yes.
And we're looking dead at you. And it's okay, that face, they're going to remember this face.
Yes.
So for another casting, it's like, oh, I remember your face.
Yeah.
You were in Atlanta.
That's so crazy that you say that because I almost got called back to the same show. I almost got called back to Atlanta again, but they were like, oh, we've already used your face. So I'm seen, but I don't feel like I was seen the way they actually wanted me to be seen initially. Because he walked up to me while I was in the hair and makeup chair, and he's like, "Oh, you're getting the celebrity treatment," and I was just like,
You didn't know what to say.
I'm standing behind the table, right? And I was talking to I should know her name. Oh goodness.
Like she's the main character, the girlfriend of Donald. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I had a crush on her.
Isn't she? And she's so sweet.
She
And
looks like a sweetheart.
She's genuinely sweet, right?
We're gonna look it up.
Do it.
I need to know.
And then cut to me saying her name properly.
You will not.
Just cut it.
You will not. Let me see.
Oh God, I really should know her name.
Cast of Atlanta.
But I was talking to her, and he walked up to us again, and I walked away. Let me see.
So you're gonna have to do it.
Okay, cool. Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz.
Yeah, she's actually super sweet.
She looks like a super sweetheart.
So I was talking to her, no problem. He comes up to us, ready to get in the conversation, and I walk away.
He isn't Donald?
Yeah. Like, so it's like 3 times. I didn't give him a chance to tell me how he is. Like,
so in this moment, you're acting, you're a dancer.
Yeah.
All of this stuff,
Singing.
and you're here in Atlanta, and you're in a big show, of course, that's very popular that people are just waiting on. Donald, if you're watching this, if you just happen to watch Living Blessed the podcast with Joe Bonte.
You're actually going to watch it.
We need Atlanta back, fam. We need it back.
And then give me another chance.
And give Kori another chance.
Because I'm going to come with my hair
She's
natural.
Come with natural
properly.
hair so y'all can do whatever y'all want to do.
Yep. And I'll speak to you.
And she'll speak longer than 5 seconds. But back into the episode. So
brief intermittent break.
Yeah. So in all of that, what is it like? You know, because acting has to be hard because you're striving for these major roles and you're striving to become. I don't want to do any comparison, but I just want to throw some names out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you're striving to become like a Halle Berry, a Taraji P. Henson, or a Sanaa Lathan, who've had like major roles and who are like very sweet and genuine people, and you're not getting it. Mm-hmm. I know for me, when I graduated college, I hit like this major depression because I wasn't getting the roles that I thought I was fit for.
Right.
And I know
you act?
No. I'm talking about like the roles of like work,
life.
job, corporate
Got
America.
it. Got it.
Life. Yeah.
I was so excited. I was like,
do you think I can be an actor?
Absolutely.
I would love to be like in just like one show. I might pull up the Greenlit one day. You ever been to Greenlit?
That's a great question. Yes.
I
went to the last one.
I love Ernestine. She's a sweetheart.
She is. I went to the last Greenlit and I ended up winning some money.
I'm from they do the can, the glass can, and the green tickets inside of it. I think it's like an improv real quick, right?
Yeah. Well, I improv too, but then it's like an improv that she opens up with, and then they have a raffle contest.
Right.
Where you get the opportunity to go and showcase the talent. And I was like, should I sing or should I do a monologue? I've never did a monologue.
You're
like
a triple threat.
Yeah.
You sing, act, dance,
design.
And now you're a quadruple set. Which I mean threat.
I am something. I am doing I'm just doing
the thing.
Yeah.
Which is dope.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I feel like I lack focus sometimes.
Why is that?
Because it's kind of like, so what my brain does sometimes is it's like, oh, we have to do this, 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 does not compute, shut down. Mm-hmm. You know? And it's just kind of like, Kori, just write a list. And I'm like, I know I should write a list. I should write a list. I'm going to write a list. I don't write a list. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's, I am going to begin going harder on myself because I feel like I give myself a lot of leeway. Okay. You know? And I don't need to give myself leeway. I don't need leeway anymore. You know?
So let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think we skipped over something. As far as the roles that you weren't getting, that you feel like you deserved. Mm-hmm. And do you feel like, had you not pushed yourself, like, you're talking about pushing yourself harder and going a lot harder. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like back then, if you had pushed yourself a lot harder back then, you would kind of maybe be a little further along where
Absolutely.
you should be?
Yes, and definitely.
Because I think we get in our heads so much. I know for me, I get in my head a lot. And then that triggers my depression because I'm in my head because I'm like, oh, wow, I'm not here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not here. Blah, 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 blah. And, you get in like these ruts where you just want to give it all up.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced a moment like that?
Yeah. And ironically, it was after some of the busiest months in my career. I was a part of Playlist Academy, shout out Jay Wise, out here in Atlanta. And Playlist Academy was stemmed from,
Playlist Academy?
Yeah, Playlist Academy was stemmed from Playlist Party, right?
What is that?
Basically, it was a event that people would come and hop on the aux and play their music.
Oh.
And people were in there. People, like Future was up in there. Like people, J-Wise is nothing to play with.
That sounds like a dope event. You just come and it's like battle the aux chord.
Yes, basically. Yeah. So then Playlist Academy was started, and it's where basically you audition, you become a part of a group, a part of a performing group that performs all around the city multiple times a month, right? So I added Playlist Academy onto what I was already doing. I was also working a full-time job, so I was performing 2 to 3 times a week all around Atlanta. I was getting rid of my stage fright because, like I said before, I was doing open mics when I first moved out here. Sucked. I have crazy stage fright when it comes to singing. It's falling off of me, though. I'm getting way more comfortable in it because of Playlist Academy, because it was like constant. I was just going. And that was 2019. By the end of 2019, I was like falling into like a rut. There was a point in time where I was literally having to be hand fed because I was so tired. I would just rather just go to sleep. I don't want to eat. I don't want to do anything else. You know?
What's this rut that you're going through?
Just exhaustion, but also if you're anemic, you really have to take your iron.
And you weren't doing that.
I was not taking my iron.
Just because you're on go?
I was on go, and then I was like, I don't really need it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't like the feeling of being dependent on anything. You know what I'm saying?
You weren't eating your greens.
And I was not eating my greens. I wasn't eating. It was bad. It was bad.
You could have just grabbed you a green smoothie real quick.
Just
kale smoothie.
A kale smoothie. Some with some spinach in it. It could have been a simple fix, but I was just like, ugh.
So how long was this moment that you were going through?
Like a year. No, that wasn't a year. Well, yeah.
So about a year, you're going through this rut of the emotions going up and down. You're
super
anemic.
Pessimistic. My brain wasn't functioning the way it's supposed to. Like I wasn't myself. You know what I'm saying? And I was becoming, and on top of that, I have an amazing boyfriend that was like supporting me. So I was just
now, when was this?
2019, early 2020. So then on top of that, the pandemic was hit. We've been together for 3 years now.
And you moved to Atlanta
4 years. 5 years ago.
Okay.
So actually, maybe 4 years. We met.
Figure it out.
Right, yo. Right
now.
No, we've been together for 3 years, but we met each other we moved out here the same year, and then I think we met each other the same year we moved out here.
So he moved from Florida, you moved from
California.
San Francisco.
Yep.
And then that year, you happened to just stumble across each other's paths.
Yeah.
And y'all are, just friends or talking for a year?
Yeah, friends for a year and a half. Like, we just
and then it decided, like, yo, like,
yeah.
Who initiated it?
Me. I'm a goer. You know what I'm saying? I'm a do what I want.
So let's talk about that part of the relationship.
Okay.
Because, for some people, they were like, I wouldn't, like, they say, well, I don't have that much time to just kind of just be somebody's friend.
That's the best part.
Talk about it, because, like, there's people who say, 3-4 months, that need to be your girl, that need to be your man. And it's that, I think that puts people in, like, I think that's like, it does so much harm to relationships. I think there's so many relationships that probably could have blossomed into something so beautiful, but because of the fact of the pressure from society and the pressure from your friends and your parents, or when you gonna wife her up, or when you gonna husband him up, or when y'all gonna have kids, and there's so much that comes with all of that conversation of the whole having kids situation, where people just sometimes they can't have kids, or where
consideration.
And it goes back to what and then it goes back to where you and Boondock are friends just for a whole year and a half, just exploring each other, getting to know each other, like, on a deeper, intimate level.
Without that pressure and expectation.
The pressure and expectations, because I think a lot of people, and I thank you for saying that, for real. Like, I think you help me, you help a lot of people. Because it's like, people expect you to, as soon as you start dating somebody that you have to jump right into something.
I feel like that's intimidating and kind of disingenuine. Like, I feel like that creates an unnecessary amount of pressure, you know? It's funny because I met him through another friend, right? And that other friend peeped. He was like, "Yo, y'all got something." And I was like, "What? No." And it was super complicated. You have no idea. It was super complicated. But there was always that initial attraction there. Literally the first day, I was like, "There's something about that guy." But that was on me though, because afterwards, I guess we were debriefing in our day. We were all eating, and they're like, "Yo, Kori, you're hecka cool. You know, I want you around more. Like, you cool." And then Bundu, no, it's not. This is his other friends. Yeah.
Oh, you're like, no,
not you. No, I wasn't even thinking like that. That's the thing. I was not even thinking like that. Okay. I was not thinking about him like that at all. I wasn't thinking of any no. So they were like, "Oh yeah, you're cool," and I was like, "Oh, thanks," you know what I'm saying? And then Bunduk, he's sitting directly across from me, and he was like, "Yeah, you're all right. I mean, we'll see." Like, cause they were hyping me up. And then he was like,
"I ain't about to believe the hype right now."
Right? Like, I don't know.
I'll see for myself.
We'll see. And then I was like, "Look, now you see." You know?
I know you're watching. You're watching all the way through.
The way through.
You lucked up because your friend could have had her.
Nope. No.
I'm kidding.
No. No.
No, but yeah, so there's no pressure from you all. Y'all just it was a straight year and a half. Y'all just friends, just kicking it, going on dates. But it's just platonically the two of you all just really just genuinely
going through dating apps and be like, yeah, no, you could.
So you're still dating in that whole year and a half. You still dating other people?
Yeah, just free.
You knew this?
Yeah,
does she know this now? I mean, or if you're not, you know
no,
now.
we were literally just kicking it. We were literally just friends. There was no expectations of us getting together. There was like little things here and there, but it was like.
Now, how did y'all establish it being what it's gonna be?
Down the line, it kind of just fell into it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it just fell into it. And, you know, we were both going through like different things in life and stuff. And then there was a point where it's kind of like, you're mine, you know? And it's like, yeah, and you're mine. And it was kind of like, ooh, you know?
So it's like, you know, what's that new saying? He's your person.
Yeah, he's my person.
And you're his person.
Yeah. And what that entails, it's crazy because the way I think about this is like he's gonna be my person regardless.
So regardless, like when you say regardless, go a little further.
Like even if we don't necessarily work out in a relationship.
Got you.
For whatever reason. I don't foresee that happening.
A friendship.
You're still there's a certain level of attachment that's just real for me.
So like if
for sure.
pray it doesn't happen. But you know, hypothetically speaking, you guys decide to part ways, and he's still your person. Yeah. There's still a connection there. How do you all part ways with someone else and still remain each other's person? Because a new person will come along and say, well,
and that can't be your person.
That can't be your person because I'm trying to be your person. You know, you gotta choose persons.
Yeah.
Like how do you guys foresee that working for you all? Because I get exactly what you're saying.
I would have to ask, do you believe in friend soulmates?
Yes, my best friend is my friend soulmate. Literally, like, you know, we have this conversation all the time.
Yeah.
Like literally, shout out to my best friend, Jizzle. Well, I call her Jizzle. Her name's Joy.
Aww.
We met.
What's up, Joy?
We was crazy having this conversation the other day, how we became friends. And I remember exactly, vividly, I can picture out exactly how we became like the best of friends. I was like the most horrible person to her from the start. But like, you know, that's like my soulmate friend.
Yeah.
Like literally, like, you know, it was like we're connected at the hip.
Yeah.
We talk to each other every week.
And there's nothing that can break that bond, right?
There's nothing or nobody can break that bond. And I see what you're saying. It's like, Boondu is that's your
my
best
bond.
friend. That's your bond.
That's my bet. The fact that he is genuinely my friend before anything.
Yeah, and I think a lot of relationships miss that. Becoming friends
because they're trying to.
I think they try to just force it, and they try to, oh, this is my girl, this is my guy. I'm gonna introduce my family and my friends right now, and we're gonna be a thing, and we're gonna be on the gram and taking pictures and all sorts of stuff. And it's like, I believe you miss a true, genuine moment to really find out if that person is your person, because you're so focused on fast forwarding that life or that
and
motion.
Getting to know them and letting them getting to know you and getting to know yourselves together, because that's also a different person.
For sure. Yeah.
That's also a different person. And that was something that actually led to another aspect of my depression. Finding myself within a relationship.
Finding yourself in you just gave me the episode title.
Finding myself within the relationship. So it's kind of like, we have to remember who we are. We have to remember who we desire to be. We have to remember all of the parts that make up ourselves, even in a relationship. Like, nothing is more important than having that center self, because you can't be with anybody healthy, like still like, not even still, you can't be with someone in a healthy way just trying to completely throw yourself into them. Because I made that mistake. I'm so happy. I'm gonna throw myself into him. Like, it's just my focus, identifying myself, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just, no. Like, everything that I'm doing, I was like ready to drop it. I was like, I'm living with my man. My man is great. I'm happy. I was not happy. I was so far from happy. I was so far from happy being taken care of, being loved, I was so far from happy. And I'm still working on, re-identifying where I'm supposed to be as a person. And now I'm way more happy, You have to take care of yourself before anything else. Beyonce said it best. You need to, everything is slipping my brain.
Don't misquote Beyonce.
I know, right?
Come get you.
Come and get me. But no, she was like,
y'all can come watch the episode and flood the comments and like and subscribe.
I'm with it, actually.
No
press is bad press.
For sure.
But she said, basically, focus on being yourself before you focus on being someone's wife.
Ooh.
Because they were like, how does it feel to be a wife?
Too.
Yeah, and I feel that's also not spoken on a lot for men, because men are already seen as providers. So you can't drop your career because you got a woman. If anything, you're gonna go harder in your career because you got a woman. You know what I'm saying? Don't drop your career because you find yourself happy. Period. No matter who you are, no matter what point in your relationship, no matter what part in your relationship you find yourself in, don't switch your career if that's not something that you want to do. Don't drop your career. Don't lose focus of your career for too long, because everybody loses focus a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
That's real.
Yeah.
But always come back to self. And if you want your career to be a center, don't drop painting. Don't drop coloring books. Don't drop doing puzzles. Don't drop. You know what I'm saying? Don't drop parts of you that you love because you're distracted. Even if that means you gotta get up after that cuddle session, like, oh, we're so warm, we're so happy. I gotta get up and do this puzzle real quick. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get up and write this song real quick. I gotta get up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so easy to find yourself lost in the sauce of love. So easy. And love is not, we normalize making a relationship a goal. We normalize making the relationship a prize. We normalize making a relationship a trophy, something to brag about on social media, something to make your whole new IG page of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's a trope.
The power couple and start, this couples podcast and all this types of crazy mess. And y'all don't know each other. It's a trope. You don't even know each other because you don't know yourself. You literally change as yourself. You literally define. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You literally find new parts of you that you function with. You don't know who you are in a relationship until you're in a relationship with that person that makes you that type of way. You don't know what your triggers are. You don't know all your deal breakers just yet. You don't even know what you're really genuinely able to tolerate for each person. You know what I'm saying? You're like, man, I would never tolerate that. You meet the right girl, you find yourself tolerating it. Why? Because you didn't foresee yourself in this relationship with this individual, because you can't. You don't genuinely know yourself until you're in those situations. So never say never, because you never know what someone can make you do.
This is crazy you said this. I was watching this video on Instagram yesterday, and it was really dope. The guy was talking about dang, what he's talking about. I gotta find the video. It was so dope. He was just talking about compatibility and not always going for what you're compatible with. Because sometimes if you go for what you're compatible with, you go for comfort.
Wow. That's true.
I'm gonna share.
That's true.
I saved it to my phone. I'm gonna share it on IG later today.
And you close yourself off from certain levels of growth.
Yeah,
that
for
you
sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I go for, if I have a type, and I always go for my type, and or if not, no, I don't want to say that. If I have, if you say I have a type, and I'm looking for compatibility in my type, and I'm like, I'm missing all the right people or the right persons that's supposed to be in my life because I'm looking for what's compatible or what society.
You're comfortable with.
I'm comfortable with somebody who's just like me. I'm comfortable with somebody who, likes what I like. Instead of like finding somebody who, you like freaking opera, and I hate the opera. I don't say I do. I'll probably sit through some opera for a little bit.
Opera's hard.
Yeah.
Orchestra music is different.
So it's like finding somebody who is maybe different may work better.
Yep. Because you're gonna expand your horizons. You know what I'm saying? But then on top of that, you never know what type of emotional growth you can have because of a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or where you're emotionally stunted and you figure out where you're emotionally stunted. Like being that vulnerable with somebody and it's kind of like it's a test and you're testing yourself because they're gonna test you.
Oh, for sure.
I am not an easy person to be with.
I'm Max Wounded.
He'll let you know I am not an easy person to be with, but I'm aware, you know what I'm saying? And I'm open to certain things. Like, it's amazing the things that we're able to just like let roll off our shoulder. Like, I used to be like, you don't tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to do. Now he'll be like, hey, come sit down. And I'll be like, why am I sitting down? Like, what do you need me to sit down for? You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's not like, there has to be a certain level of trust that you have with a person in order to grow and find yourself kind of shifting and
you can't find that in a matter of months. No. You just can't. It's hard.
And if you do, I would challenge you to question why you trust so fast. Ooh. I would suggest you sit down and reflect and see where that level of trust or that desire to trust comes from and the situations it's put you in. And if it's worked with you and for you, it's worked for you. And I'm really happy that you have such a deciphering judgment of character. But if it hasn't worked for you, I think there should be a change. Because I feel like that's possibly because you're afraid to be alone and you desire a certain relationship. And so you're just kind of going to make it even where it's not necessarily there.
Wow. That was real. That was deep. I didn't expect to go there. But no, that was real, man. Like, that was real. That was dope. That was really, y'all, you were dope.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, wow. The look in your eye when you said thank you. Wow, that means a lot.
No, but I really enjoy genuine conversations.
Yeah, me too.
You had me a little concerned at the beginning, the whole mascara stuff. But you redeemed yourself.
That's what I was going to say earlier. I was going to thank you so much. Yo, I had on for those that are judging my eyes
they
situation.
Can't even see it.
I hope that's true. But I had on lashes, magnetic lashes.
You had lashes on.
And I had to take them off. But I took off my liner with the lashes. So I had chunks out of my liner.
Nobody can see it. If you can see her, I'm going to go to her. And you can see anything right now, put it in the comments. I see it. Whatever mark this is. So
but I stopped and I went and I got eyeliner and I went and I got mascara, even though my mascara is a little chunky because I had to rush to get back. Because I did feel bad because I could have sworn I put my liner in my backpack.
You redeemed yourself.
Good.
This conversation really, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too.
Every conversation I try to have on this podcast, one, I want it for myself. To help me become a better person because I'm trying to become a better man every day through the stories of people. Yeah. I'm a people person. I love people. Well, I love people, but people exhaust me sometimes. So
you're strumming
go
my
in
pain.
my little corner and refresh myself and come back out to the world and say, all right, I'm a people person again. But no, like your story was just very genuine. It was you. I think you painted a picture.
Thank you.
And I don't want to say Picasso because I want to go to somebody black.
Ooh.
Give me a black artist. That's really
you asking
dope.
The wrong person. I thought I had someone. I knew I had someone for a second.
The guy who paints the black and white pictures on Instagram, who just does like crazy stuff, and he just turns.
Oh my goodness, the realism.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He just does his hands, and he just like. I'm like, yo, this is like, and then it just becomes
you're talking about the guy that you didn't even know he was painting, but then it comes out together in the end.
The most beautiful thing ever. That was your story.
Oh wow.
It was like, at first I was concerned. I got this diva on the podcast. I even called my best friend like, yo, let me tell you about this girl, and she's about to walk in here right now, and she's interrupting my podcast because and then you painted this beautiful picture that just changed the whole narrative.
Wow.
And
thank you.
It's like. You were raw. You were just you. And that's what I said. People need to appreciate the rawness and the realness of people and the genuineness of people and the whole, what did you say earlier? You were like, dang, what was it? Because it helped me as far as when it comes to like dealing with different people. What did you say?
Dealing with people where they are. Like you can genuinely be yourself, but show different people.
What was the word you used? A C word.
Not compromise, was it?
No, it wasn't compromise. I don't know, but I know exactly. I know what it is.
Okay.
But it was like just kind of meeting people. In a sense, meeting people where they are.
Yeah.
Each individual when you interact with them, like that's one thing when it comes to just being yourself.
Yeah.
It's hard for people to be themselves. I know for me it was the
consideration.
Hardest. Consideration, yes, that was a C word. I'm not retarded, y'all. I promise.
He's not.
I'm very, very brilliant.
You got some degrees.
Yes.
Getting another one. Okay.
Don't play me. But yeah, just kind of help, just being considerate of the person's emotions and feelings. Because me, I'm the type of guy. I'm kind of like you. I just say what I feel, talk how I want to talk.
Yeah.
But I've always been this person, and I had to do a lot of inner work and a lot of therapy and all types of stuff to kind of be me and let people adjust. I love, like, this is my favorite. Shout out to Brenton, yo. This is my favorite hoodie. Like, get you one at doorsclothing.com. This is like free promo for my boy. This hoodie's like my favorite hoodie.
I like it. I like it.
People love this. Everybody's trying to wear this hoodie. Like, my cousin took it one day and put on the quote for her picture on Instagram.
Hey.
This little white lady stopped me and said, oh my gosh, I love your hoodie.
Good. You
like my favorite,
reaching different.
Yeah. But this is my favorite hoodie because I've struggled for years to just be me. And it's like, now it's like I'm finally me.
Yeah.
And your story helps people to finally just be them.
Wow. Thank you.
To just be them and just be who you are with, all of your, I don't want to call them deformities.
Yeah, they are though.
Yeah, but okay.
And that's another thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, words, people give weight to words a lot.
Yeah.
I got deformities, and that's okay. It's like.
But it's just you didn't let you had a moment in life where it could have stopped you. It could have been a bump in the road. Could have been it was a bump in the road for a little bit, and there was a hurdle because you had to go through those obstacles of the teacher.
Yeah.
And the painting of the nails and stuff like that. But it was just they made you into a stronger being.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do a quick commercial break. Then we're gonna come back and tell them where they can find you.
Okay, cool.
We didn't talk about the clothing brand. Tell them how to get some innocent wear.
Okay.
Because I love the brand.
Thank you. Thank you.
I never brought me a shirt either because you were supposed to bring me a shirt. I was supposed to buy a shirt.
This isn't even over.
I know. I'm going to see you again, but still. Matter of fact, Boondu owes me a shirt too. So both of y'all.
So you just assume that I don't have anything for you.
I don't know, but I just want to buy a shirt. But so Boondu gave me a shirt too. He's going to buy me, because he had this really dope. Okay, we're ranting right now. But yeah, so this episode is sponsored by the Embolden Institute. It is the only place that I know of that's sending out. Do you get any daily encouragement text from anybody?
I get emails, but not text.
I ain't talking about emails, text messages. Because right now, I'm not really checking emails like that. I mean, I check my emails because I'm old. But because I have business. I got business.
Yeah.
That's the professional way of doing things. But I'm sending out daily texts. So actually right now I'm in this 30-day affirmation challenge.
Okay.
I'm challenging people to affirm themselves for 30 days straight. And I'm sending out text messages, and I'm gonna keep it going.
I love that.
Every day, just affirmations every day. But right now I'm in a 30-day challenge where I'm challenging people to affirm themselves every day, and you must look yourself in the mirror.
Oh, this is a call to action.
Yeah, you have to you have to literally say this affirmation. Just look at your phone and say, okay, cool. I am cool. Like, and just saying this in your head. No,
Yeah.
like literally, you just put to say this out loud. Like, I am genuine. Like, today's affirmation was, I choose this, my feelings are, hold on, I'll go to it right now. It was pretty dope.
Do it.
Today's affirmation was, I'm allowed to have needs and take up space.
That's very relevant. That is very relevant.
So
I'm allowed to have needs and take up space.
So I'm challenging people
That's fire.
to affirm themselves every day, to get back and build their confidence up, so that they can be themselves. And so text me, because I'm going to keep this thing going, because it's now, Kori just kind of challenged me. She don't know she did it, but she did. Challenge me to keep the affirmation challenge going. So text me the word affirmation to 404-476-6780. That's 404-476-6780. Just text me affirmation. Or if you wanted to join, I have another community called the Healers Club. Just text me the word heal to the same number, 404-476-6780. And I send out messages, pretty much just kind of, encouragement, how you can pretty much become a better person, how you can be encouraged daily. I'm sending these things out randomly throughout the day. So it's not the first thing you get, it might be the last thing you get, but whatever moment that you receive this text message, it's for you in that time, in that moment. And I want you to stay connected, not just to me, but to kind of get connected into yourself. So text me, 404-476-6780. Kori, I want you to close us out with how they can find you.
Okay.
How they can get some merch.
Okay.
And a word of encouragement.
All right, let's talk about it. So
You're so dope.
Thank you, man. So are you. I really like the text. Those are dope ideas. But yes, you can find me at Kori, KORI _JEANNE. Once again, it's KORI _JEANNE. And that's my IG. That's also me on everything. I'm also Googleable because I have a website, which is literally KoriJeanne.com. And you can also find merchandise on that same website, KoriJeanne.com/innocent. Innocent is about putting Black and brown people in a word that is not associated with us nearly enough. It started off as a song that had nothing to do with activism. And then I realized that, I'm selling this to a lot of Black kids. And I'm putting them, ironically, in a word that people do not see them in, so I turned it into a whole line. You can go check that out. And a word of encouragement is do you, boo. Do you. Other people's opinions of you, how you make other people feel without you saying anything, is none of your business. The only adjustments that you need to make are the ones that you feel are necessary for you. That is it.
Dang, that was dope.
Thank you so much.
I'll chop it up later. You're dope.
Was I looking at the wrong camera?
No. I wanted some on my phone to put on Instagram. That was good. That was good. That was really good. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Thank you.
Thank you for waiting for me.
And thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And I think the time in that waiting was a time that we needed to make this conversation even better.
True.
I think had I just no, you're just gonna do it because this is my show. I think you wouldn't have been so comfortable to really pour out the way you did.
That's true.
And
That's true.
dang, my brain is horrible.
No, it's not.
Okay, it's not horrible, but it was what it needed to be for the time being. For the conversation to be the conversation, for you to feel comfortable, because I want people to. This is a safe space.
Yeah.
Sitting in that seat is a safe space. Viewing this episode is a safe space.
Yeah.
And I want people to feel safe and comfortable so they can share so freely.
And I felt very, very comfortable.
Yeah, I just want people to just be able to share freely and to really just have diarrhea of the mouth on the. No, I let people talk.
Yeah.
I want people to talk. I want people to get this out because I want people to know that whatever they think they're going through alone, they're not. There's another Kori out there, Kori Jeanne, who needs to understand that, the deformities that she may have or he may have, you can still shine bright.
So bright.
You can still be confident in yourself.
Yeah.
You can still love yourself. You can still find your person through it all.
Yeah.
And I know that that's what this episode did for somebody, because it helped me. And I know if it helped me, it's going to help somebody else.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gosh. Javon, thank you.
Go cry. Don't cry.
I won't.
Thug it out. You was on Atlanta. No,
For real, right? What you mean, bro?
So listen, y'all. That's another episode of Been Blessed, the podcast. We are out. Peace.
Gang, gang, squad.